This hearing was set, Mr. John Elder. You had indicated you needed an emergency hearing, but I see no motion in the file.
I I don't know. Our last hearing, you had said for a follow up to email you, so that's how I thought I was supposed to follow up.
Yeah, you need to follow up by filing a motion with the
Okay.
court. Then we'll set the motion for hearing. What is your emergency?
Uh, I put it as urgent. I didn't state emergency.
But
So basically, this weekend is supposed to be my weekend with the kids. We have it scheduled for my side of the family to have Christmas this Saturday. We scheduled that specifically because I'm supposed to have the kids this weekend. But Journey is saying now that this is part of her week of Christmas break because I had the first week and then she's supposed to have the second week. So I haven't had the kids in 2 weekends now. This will be the second weekend. Christmas break started I had them from Friday, December 20th until Friday, December 27th, exactly 7 days. And then she had them from Friday, December 27th until today. So that's exactly 7 days. And then this weekend is supposed to be my weekend again for the rotating schedule. She apparently disagrees because there's a pop up on the school's website stating that the school break is goes through the 6th. So that would be this weekend plus Monday. But the school calendar specifically says that the winter break goes through January 3rd, and that's it. And then there's the weekend, and then the 6th, that Monday, is a teacher in service day. It has nothing to do with her her week of Christmas break. So I had 7 days. She got her 7 days. Now she feels like my weekend is included in her week of Christmas break, and I'm telling her that's not true. So I guess we need the court to make a decision on that.
Ms. Lee,
Your Honor, I forwarded or I had responded to the Zoom information with all of the like the conversation between Mr. Elder and I, the school calendar, all of that information. Was that forwarded on to you?
I have an email with that information, yes.
Okay, perfectly. That's what I'll be referencing then. So our school calendar has always had Mondays off on winter break. It's just been part of winter break always, even if it's stated as a teacher in service. Mr. Elder did have the children starting 6 p.m. on Thursday evening, and our court order is currently until 6 p.m. on December 26th. Since it was a little bit of a longer on the second half of winter break, I asked if he'd like extra time. He'd originally asked for the entire weekend of last weekend. We had our family stuff on Sunday, so I said Saturday or Friday. He mentioned he wasn't able to meet at 6 p.m. on Friday, and I was not able to meet earlier with a transport. So we met Friday, so he had an extra day on there. And I sent everything in there to show, what that conversation looked like, the back and forth of negotiation, and then the instant, if we're not doing it my way, I'm going to escalate this. But I do not think that Mr. Elder should be able to just arbitrarily decide that winter break ends 4 days before it does.
Where, Mr. Elder, where are you residing now?
I live in Wichita.
And Ms. Lee, where are you residing?
We live in Salina, Your Honor.
Okay, so you're only about 90 minutes apart.
Correct.
roughly. Okay. Well, this is a situation where you have an agreed order in place. And the agreed order divides your break on the 26th, first half, second half. It's not always going to be exact with the number of days, but the break is from when they get out of school till they go back to school. So your order has your date. Again, as I explained to both of you, the order is your safety net. If you can agree otherwise, agree otherwise. If you can afford each other some leniency, afford each other some leniency. If you can't agree, then you fall back on your order. And the order is pretty clear. It's the first half and the second half, and I think even your children will tell you that break is from when they get out till they go back. That's just the way break is. So,
Your Honor, I was under, oh, sorry.
technically, let me speak. So technically, Miss Lee is correct. From the order, and I'm looking at the order that was filed, the agreed order filed November 15th of 2024. And for Christmas break, I'm sorry, it's called referred to as winter break. There's a first half and a second half. Now, that being said, this one is unusual because there's a lot of weekends involved in this one. Normally over a winter break, you'd have 2 weekends. This year, because of how it fell, there's 3. So it falls down to the two of you to work it out. If you can't work it out, then it falls back to the court order. Now, that being said, Miss Lee, you had submitted some documents to the court about some separate school activities going on, or some separate activities you had enrolled the children in.
Correct.
A
We have camp.
KCC camp. Yeah. But that's on Thursday, today, and then on Monday. And it's my understanding what he's wanting to do is a family Christmas on Saturday,
Correct.
and that's not an accommodation you're willing to make?
We are due to get some pretty horrendous weather. Is the Christmas here in Salina by any chance? Is it at your sister's house, John?
Yep.
Okay, I would be fine with them going for Christmas at his sister's house on Saturday
In Salina, so that
in
they're not
Salina.
traveling in the storm on the highway.
Correct. We're supposed to get up to a foot of snow here in the Salina area
Now,
between Saturday and Sunday.
so Mr. Elder, when is the family get together at your sister's house?
I'll have to look at the exact time. I think it's right around noon on Saturday. I want to say noon, 1 o'clock, something like that.
Okay. And you're agreeable to that, Miss Lee?
Absolutely. I can just drop
Children
them off
being
at her house.
in Salina. And then communicate with each other as to return time, and obviously watch the weather. The roads start getting bad, get the kids in a safe place. And don't be driving the kids out on the highway in a bad storm. That's just basic common sense for parenting. Okay. With that agreement, anything else, Mr. Elder?
Yeah. So another reason I wanted to bring this to the court is because, it would throw off all of our weekends from now until forever. So the way I have my weekends planned out is, on your calendar, you can just set it to where it just automatically updates. I have every other weekend. And so, if somebody says, hey, do you have the kids next September on this weekend? Then I can look at my calendar and say yes or no, so I can plan ahead.
Well,
So,
but remember, those weekend visits are trumped by holiday visits.
correct. So I just wanted clarification that if there is something from the holiday schedule that, okay, she gets that weekend now, but that does not throw off the every other weekend. That means she gets that weekend, she gets a following weekend, and I stay with that same every other weekend
Well,
schedule.
When you say it doesn't throw off the weekend, if a weekend for her visitation falls on a holiday you're supposed to have the children, then the holiday schedule trumps the regular weekend visitation, and the holiday schedule controls. And then you go back to your normal schedule.
Correct.
Again,
That's
you have
that's
to
what I was
work
looking
with
for.
each other as parents, but holidays trump regular weekends.
So, okay. Other than that, uh, the way our parenting plan reads, it does not say just first half, second half. It specifically says winter break, first week, second week. So I was going off of the calendar, the school calendar that says, the first week, and it goes until the 26th, 27th. I had that first week, 7 days. And then the second week, she also gets 7 days, and the school calendar shows that it ends on the 3rd. So according to the way our parenting plan reads, I am correct.
It's not divided by weeks. The winter break is divided by first half and second half. And
Okay.
it's divided by first half from when the kids get out of school until the 26th of December at 6 p.m. And then
That just wasn't clarified in the
and
parenting plan
then
or in
and then
mediation.
it ends when the kids go back to school. So this is just one of those fluke years where there's a longer second half than a first half. Next year, it may be the opposite, or it may be the same next year. And the first half may be longer next year than the second half because of when the kids get out of school. But out of school from the break is from when they get out till they go back in. And again, you have to cooperate with one another on your weekends to do what's right, do what's fair, and what's in the best interest of the children. Your order is your safety net if you can't cooperate and work it out. But your order clearly says the break is first half and second half. It doesn't go by weeks. It's just first half and second half. Okay. But sounds like you've resolved it. And you're going to have the kids at your sister's house for Christmas, and that'll be good. Okay. Anything else today?
I think that's it for that. Other than that, I did email the court back to request a short hearing from our previous mediation. There was one thing that we didn't agree on, and it's in the current order as temporarily ordered by you. We did not agree on Jordan and Stetson Smith being allowed to be alone with the kids. They in mediation, there was a lot of back and forth, and they tried to convince me, and they had me for a second, but I told them I'm sorry, I can't agree to that. My instinct says no. These people have already been teaching the kids weird stuff, and according to Journey, she says, it's not necessarily them teaching it to the kids, it's the kids asking questions. Well, when I feel like when they're constantly exposed to that lifestyle, then they're gonna have questions. I feel like that's my job as a parent to protect them from that, and I don't agree with them being alone with these people.
Okay. And Mr. Elder, that is certainly a concern you can raise with the court, but how this works is, and this is for both of you because you're both representing yourself, if you have an issue you need to bring before the court, you file a motion with the court, and we notice it up and we have a hearing on it. Okay? So this was at least presented to me as quote an emergency regarding a Christmas over the weekend. So we got it put onto the calendar.
Okay.
Other issue is an on-standing issue. You need to file your motion so that Ms. Lee has notice of your motion and has time to prepare to respond to the motion. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. If you can't work it out, then you put it in front of the court. Otherwise, the two of you can work it out. If you can't, then file your motion, and that's for either one of you. File the motion with the court. It gets noticed up for hearing, and then we have the hearing on it. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. You're all set for this weekend, right? What time is Mr. Elder picking up the kids, or you're dropping off the kids, Miss Lee?
I can drop the kids off. And John, if you have to leave for Wichita early to make it back and the kids want to stay a bit longer, our plans were canceled this weekend. We were going to Topeka and it's not going to happen. So if they want to stay a bit longer, that's fine. I can always go pick them back up.
They've got cousins, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah, and they'll want to spend time with their cousins.
Yes.
Yeah,
So again, she says they have no plans this weekend. This is supposed to be my weekend. She's letting me have them on Saturday. I don't understand why I can't have the full weekend. I'm sorry. She makes me fight for every little bit of time I can get with them, and I'm going to fight.
Mr. Elder, okay. You are interpreting the orders differently than the court interprets the order. You're looking at it as that there's a week and there's a week and it's not divided. That's just first half and second half of the break. Again, this is something that you two need to cooperate with one another, but if push comes to shove, it falls back to the order. The order is first half and second half. So,
Yeah.
Understood. And the holidays trump regular visitation. Now, sounds like you've got this Saturday figured out.
Okay. Can I just clarify when my next weekend will be? I do have training on the 10th and 11th, and she's saying that that's the next weekend she will let me have them. I'm going to be training, so I told her that I would like to stick with the current every other weekend schedule, which would be my next weekend would be the following weekend after that, which I think is the weekend of the 19th. So
we built that into the parenting plan already. So that way then his wife Amanda would have the children if he had military duties. So we've already addressed that. And unfortunately,
is there any reason you can't swap out the weekend if he's going to be in training?
Unfortunately, I will be in Kansas City.
Okay. Does your agreement specifically lay out the weekends? You've been on a rotation basis, correct?
It says every other weekend, and I just want to keep the same rotation is all I'm asking.
So why would the rotation shift? If this would have been a normal weekend for Mr. Elder, but it got trumped by the holiday, then
I didn't think he'd want to spend 3 weekends away.
Well, yeah, it doesn't change. He just got trumped because of the holiday, and that's just the way the holidays fell this year. But it doesn't change your rotation. Your rotation would remain the same.
Oh, okay.
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 So
then I'll figure things out on my end with the Kansas City.
Again, if you can work it out, work it out. And with the rotation this year, you might want to swap it the weekend, next weekend for the following weekend. That's fine. You guys can agree and do that. You can swap out weekends. You could do whatever works for parenting these kids.
Mhm.
The order is your safety net. If you can't come to an agreement, then you fall back to your court order. Okay, but otherwise, you can do what works for you and the kids, keeping in mind the best interest of the children. The best interest is to have a good relationship with both of you.
Yes.
Okay? And then if you can't agree, you file a motion with the court and call and schedule a hearing. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything further today, Mr. Elder?
Negative, Your Honor.
Anything further today, Miss Lee?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you both. And again, work in the best interest of your children. Keep that relationship with each other and the children going. Okay? Okay, thank you both. And we're
Thank you.
adjourned.